All right, welcome everybody to another edition of the Second Opinion Loan Officer podcast. Today we are going to teach ChatGPT to act like you. And the reason we're going to do this is because we're going to create a content marketing strategy based on a hub and spokes model. And if we have time, I got a couple of bonuses to show you. Since it's acting like you, what other jobs can it do for us? So this is going to be a fun one today. Now, I'm going to kind of go through some pretty complex prompts pretty quickly on this, but don't worry. I've got a link in the description that you can get access to the slides and all of the prompts. So I've copied all of the prompts so that you can kind of cut, paste them, and experiment with them on your own. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's make that a little bit bigger because this is the important part. So here's what we're going to do today. So what we're going to do is we're going to train ChatGPT to act like you. And we're going to do this with multiple sources of your voice, of your content. And that's kind of the magic in this part of this class. Quite frankly, is how to feed it multiple sources and really build out that persona that is going to be you, that it's going to be training you. So we're going to train it with multiple sources. Then we're going to create a hub and spoke strategy. So once it knows how to speak like you, we're going to ask it to write a blog post. We're going to write a blog post or an article, and then we're going to promote that blog post with a video, with an email campaign, and with a Facebook post campaign. Okay, so that's going to be our hub and spoke strategy. And then if we have time, I'm going to show it how to read and answer long emails for you. And I have I think it's a 490 word email that I received, and I'm going to show you what we did with that. And then as a bonus, I'm going to show you how to create timely and relevant content that you can plug right back into the hub and spoke strategy that we're going to show you. We're going to show you how to read an online article, have ChatGPT read an online article, summarize it, and then you pick out the points that you support, and you're going to rewrite or repurpose a completely new article based on the points that you agree on that article. So we're going to be jam-packed with information here. I'm going to try to keep it to a reasonable amount of time. But again, link in the description to these slides and all of the prompts that I'm showing you here so that you can replicate this experiment that we're going to do today. So giving it multiple examples. Now, this is something normally most people use ChatGPT like a search engine. They put in a question and it punches out an answer. That's fine. That's an okay way to use it. It's a super powerful search engine, but where it really gets powerful is when we can train it to act like certain things, specifically act like us. So my very first prompt here is, I want you to act like me. I'm going to give you a series of examples of my writing. I want you to mimic my speech patterns and speaking style. Do you understand? As you know, if you've watched my other videos, do you understand, I think, is one of the more important steps in really starting to get your feet wet with advanced prompt building. Because you want to make sure that ChatGPT is keeping up with you. That's one thing, is you kind of want to test GPT, make sure that it understands. But most importantly, what that's telling you is whether or not you're explaining yourself correctly. And that's the real magic of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an amplifier. If you're creative and you know how to really go in there and be creative and really visualize what you want to accomplish and be able to describe that really well, ChatGPT can accomplish it. So do you understand? And it tells me, yes, I understand. Please provide examples of your writing, and I'll do my best to mimic your speech patterns and speaking style. That's what I'm looking for. So the first thing I start with is a YouTube video. Now, this YouTube video, so even though I'm going to create a consumer direct content strategy, this is actually a transcript that I fed it from one of these videos. So this is B2B, right? I'm talking to other loan officers. I'm not talking to consumers on this one, but this is my speech. This is my speech pattern. This is how I talk. This is how I write. Quite frankly, my writing sounds a lot like how I speak. So here's the first example. Now here's the important part of this. Here's the first example. This is a transcript from a YouTube video. So I'm telling it where it came from, so it kind of knows how to read it. I have more examples to upload, so do not create any output yet. Let me know that you've received and understand this transcript and that you're ready to receive more examples. Here's the first transcript. And then I pasted the transcript in. Now, if you remember from our other videos, the way that you get a transcript from any YouTube video is there are 3 little dots on the lower right-hand corner of the video. If you click those dots, there's 2 options, report and show transcript. You click show transcript and it shows up there on the right-hand side. Now, ChatGPT, you can feed it up to about 12 to 13 minutes of a YouTube transcript. Okay, 12 to 13 minutes seems to be the limit on the amount of copy. If you go higher than that, it's going to say there's too much information and it can't handle it. So any video that's less than 12, 13 minutes, you can do this with. So remember, I asked it, do not create any output. Let me know that you know what I uploaded and let me know that you're ready for more resources. So ChatGPT now says, I have received the first example and understand it's a transcript from a YouTube video about a strategy that YouTube influencers use. I'm ready to receive more examples. So that's exactly what it was. That was my video on the little secret of YouTube influencers, which is basically just grabbing popular topics that everybody else is doing and creating your own. And I did an episode on that a couple of weeks ago. The other thing you can do is voice transcript. Voice transcript, you could just do a voice memo into your phone. I put it into descript.com. That's a transcriber and it does a really good job. But there's a lot of transcription services out there. But this is a voice transcript, voice memo from your phone, get the transcription. I think somebody had told me that Loom will do a transcript as well. So that's also a possibility. Do a Loom video, take the transcript, put that, get the written copy from it, and you can upload it. I use blog posts, so I write a lot of blog posts. So I took blog posts and I'm uploading some written content. So this is an article that I already wrote without the assistance of ChatGPT. And so I go, here's the next article. This is a blog post I've written. Do not create any output. Let me know that you understand this example and you are ready for more examples. Here's the blog post. So this was a blog post about buying your first home. It was part of a first-time home buying series that I did. So it says, I understand the examples you provided is a blog post about buying a first home written by Scott Shang. It offers guidance and advice to first-time buyers, emphasizing the importance of education empowerment through the home buying process. I am ready for more examples. Okay. So then I said, I'm going to feed it an email that I wrote. Now, this particular response is to a very long email that we're going to use in an example at the end. And this is a really cool result. So I want you to stay tuned for that. But basically, I got this really long email. So you go to your email sent folder and you just look for the longest email that you've written somebody in a voice that you would want ChatGPT to learn. So this was a consumer, had a really, really long question about a really complex loan qualifying situation, and I wrote her a response. So I took that email, I copied it, and I pasted it into ChatGPT. I said, here's an email that I've written. Let me know that you've received this and understand the example. And I pasted the email, the response that I did to the email. And it says, I understand. It says you provided what you provided is an email to Margaret offering advice and support regarding her home loan application. I'm not going to read this because we're going to actually use this as an example in the future. But again, you can get these slides in the description below and you can get all of these prompts. So now that we've fed it a video transcript, we've fed it a blog post, we can feed it a voice transcript, we've fed it an email that I sent. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to launch a hub and spoke strategy. And basically, what this is we're going to create a unique SEO optimized blog post out of thin air. Okay. We're not going to we're going to tell it what we want the blog post about, but we're not repurposing an article. Like in my past videos, I've been repurposing videos and then turning those into blog posts. We're going to go the opposite way. We're going to ask ChatGPT to write a unique blog post in our voice. Then we're going to create a video script and or an outline of the blog or from the blog post. So we're going to create a video script that we can turn into a transcript that we can upload to a teleprompter. So it's not going to be a transcript, it's a script. So we're going to do a video script we can upload to the teleprompter that sort of summarizes our video. Then we're going to write a series of emails promoting the post and the video. And then we're going to write a Facebook post that's promoting the post in the video. And this is a classic model in content marketing. A lot of you aren't familiar with this because you're just spending time in spokes. If you're just posting on social media, that's not content marketing. That's social media networking. It's different. If you go to those crowds and you network and you engage in those things, you can get referrals and people can get to know you. What we're creating is called hub and spoke. So our article is our main content, and we host that article in a place where we can control the environment. There's no other noise. They can't click on somebody else's post. They're not going to run into an ad. All they're going to have is calls to action to reach out to us if they have additional information. Then what we're going to do is we're going to promote that on all of the spokes. We're going to promote it through email. We're going to promote it on YouTube. We're going to promote it in Facebook. We can put it on Google My Business, Instagram. We can drive paid traffic to that blog post. We can put it on LinkedIn as an article to that audience. So those are your spokes, and all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead back to your blog post. That's your hub. That's where your transactions are created. So that's what we're going to do here. So the first thing we're going to do is write me a unique blog post. Write me a 700-word blog post using Google best practices for readability and SEO optimization about the importance of owning a home. The target audience is first-time buyers who are currently renting. Stress the importance of fixing your housing expenses and the importance of being part of a community and the net worth gap between homeowners and renters. I want you to display H2 and H3 headlines as rich text, bullet points and statistics supporting the benefits of homeownership. The mood should be informative and helpful, and please write it in 9th grade reading level. Remember, you are writing as me. So what I have done, so I mentioned earlier that ChatGPT is an amplifier. So if you are creative enough to visualize what you want, I want this article, I want it to be first-time home buyers. And I've got some really cool, episode coming up next week on how to target first-time home buyers for like paid traffic. So stick with me on that. But this is going to be a first-time home buyer market for quite a while. As rates start to settle down, they're not going to go back to where all of the homeowners have 3% interest rates now. If they settle down, they're going to settle down to the low 6s, the high 5s. Maybe we get to the mid 5s. The housing market is going to continue to be pretty challenging because of the lack of inventory. But as builders start to build and we start to create more inventory, which hopefully people are working on that, then we're going to have first-time buyers for the next couple of years. So that's why most of my strategies are for first-time home buyers. So again, I told it, first-time home buyers, I want you to hit on fixing your housing expenses. That's a conversation we have with all first-time buyers, right? Why pay your landlord's rent when you can pay your own mortgage? It's forced savings. I didn't even mention forced savings in here. Being part of a community, stabilizing your family in a community, net worth gaps, between homeowners and renters. So I gave it a few points and I said, hey, include these things in this article. So it created an article for me. So when I asked for the H2 and H3 headlines, those are SEO terms for Google, and it means headline. So one of the reasons why you would create headlines like this is not only for Google. So basically when Google spiders, the crawlers, go to your website, they're going to see the URL, the domain name of your website. They're going to look at the H1s, which is the title of your blog post, the H2s, which is sort of the higher 30,000 foot view, and then the H3s, which is like the 1,000 foot view on the topics that you're talking about. What we also did is you see that it created bold and bullet points for readability. Because remember, I told it I want it to follow SEO best practices so I can be found on Google, but I also want you to follow readability guidelines, best practices, so that it's easy for the consumer to read. So here's the article that it punched out. The importance of owning a home for first-time homebuyers, fixing your housing expense, a key benefit to home ownership. It talks about that. It talks about the fixed payment helps you to budget effectively, avoid inflation, build equity through forced savings, which is really cool because I didn't even mention that. The power of building community. Building a community allows you to forge lasting relationships, enjoy stability, shape your environment, send your kids to certain schools, certain neighborhoods, things like that. Closing the net worth gap, homeowners versus renters. Now, it pulled this from the data set that it has. Statistics show a significant disparity in net worth between homeowners and renters, according to a Federal Reserve study, and it linked to the Federal Reserve. It said a median net worth of homeowners was $225,000 or $255,000 in 2020, because remember the data set only goes to September 2021 for ChatGPT. So it's pulling 2020 numbers, while the median net worth of renters was just $6,300. And the gap can be attributed to appreciation, forced savings, again, and tax benefits. See, I didn't tell it any of these things. I just gave it an outline of what it needed to be. And quite frankly, this sounds like me. This is how I write. So it probably pulled a lot of this from the article that I did, but I am loving the way that this looks. This is readable. I had to chunk it up in order to see it on this these slides, but this is a nice looking article and it flows really well. Embrace a homeownership journey. Hopeful and empowered, educate yourself, assemble a team, take control of your finances. That was a really good article. So there's my hub. The only thing it was missing was a call to action. I have a couple other episodes that I did with Brian View of Finlocker. I really like this tool. It's also called Vita for individual loan officers. Finlocker is more of an enterprise type of solution to this, and Vita is a personal app for loan officers. And essentially, what it is it's a mortgage readiness tool that works really well for first-time home buyers or homeowners. It allows people to monitor their credit, allows them to create and stick to budgets. Like they can set a timeline on how long they want to buy, and it will help them with their finances. It'll help them tell them when they're mortgage ready. And it's a really, really cool tool that all you do is you give them access to this app, and then it's going to notify them every month, hey, your credit score moved this much, or there's this opportunity. So it's a really good long-term nurture strategy. So I have this free app, and we use this app in the Find My Way Home Expert Network. This is given to all of our members. And so I want to, since they're on my article, if they're not ready to buy right now, because first-time home buyers online are usually pretty early entry. They're not always ready to buy right now. So I want to give them an additional call to action that maybe will help them on their journey, and also allow me to get them into my database so that I can nurture them and provide them with something of value until they are ready to buy. So here's what I did: is I said, can you write a call to action for this article to download a free app for their phone that monitors their credit, helps them create and track budgets, and allows them to search for homes for sale in the price range that they qualify for. The mood is enthusiastic. Acknowledge that while it's a tough market out there and rates are a little bit higher than they were a few years ago, there is less competition and you can avoid rent increases in the future. So that was kind of the theme of our article. We didn't talk about less competition, but it was to fix your housing costs, right? So this is my call to action, and this is kind of small, but again, this is the link to the slides are down below, and you can get a little bit closer look at this. But take control of your home ownership with our free app. And then it basically says you can monitor your credit, create and track budgets. You can find the perfect home, download the app for free. So that's going to be my call to action that I'm going to throw on the bottom of my blog post. Now I have a complete blog post. And what we want to do is we want to create a video. So we're going to ask it, can you create a video script for a YouTube video that will be 10 minutes long? We're not going to do the entire article. We're going to do a summary of the article, because remember, all of our spokes, so all of our content, all of the information and our calls to action exist in that article. That's our hub. That's where we want to drive people to. Every place else, we want to tease them. We want to tease them with what they can get if they go and they watch this article. That's the hub. That's the spokes that drive traffic to your hub. So write me a video script for YouTube that's going to be 10 minutes long. Please include timestamps to keep me on track. Also include a hook for the video and bullet points of the topic covered in the blog post. Call to action is to read the entire article by clicking the link in the description. Also include free credit monitoring and a budgeting app that homebuyers can download from the blog post. So here we go. Here's the hook. Hey there, first-time buyers. You tired of renting and eager to start building equity in your own home? Well, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're going to discuss the importance of owning a home and why it's a smart decision for your future. Let's dive right in. And then it talks about, here's our first bullet at 15 seconds. So it gave us 15 seconds for our hook. Fixing your housing expenses. They want us to spend a minute 30 on that. At a minute 30, building a sense of community. And then it's a bullet point summary that I'm uploading to the transcript. And then there's a net worth gap. And then there's statistics and benefits of home ownership. And then the call to action is to read the full blog post. And then the bonus is, here's the free credit monitoring app. And then the conclusion is, click on this, get the description, download the app, read the full video, and you're good to go. So that is our 10-minute video. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create an email series, another spoke, to all of our prospects that are in our database. Now there's a few ways we can do this. This particular one, I'm just doing an email series to try to drive my existing home buyers. And, we've probably got a lot of home buyers in our database from when rates were really, really low and people just couldn't get into homes. And hopefully you're doing consumer direct marketing now and you're building a list of potential home buyer prospects in the future. So here we go. Can you write me a series of emails that I can send home buyer prospects to drive them back to this blog post? Use the main points from the blog post as the title and topic for each email. You are writing these emails as me, and the call to action is to click the link in the blog post to read more. The tone should be hopeful, right at a 9th grade reading level. So what it basically did is it created a series of emails for me that tackle each one of the paragraphs or each one of the sections in the blog post, and it's teasing them with that and saying, hey, if you want more information on this and even more information for first-time buyers, here's the link to the blog post. So we'll go through these quickly. The first one, fix your housing expenses with home ownership, right? So are you tired of facing rent increases in year after year? The solution to the problem is home ownership. In my latest blog post, I dive into the importance of owning a home and the many benefits it brings. Click the link below to find out, to learn more about fixing your housing expenses and how homeownership can positively impact your life. Here's a link to the blog post. The second one, become part of a thriving community through home ownership. Same thing. It says, do you want to be a part of a great community? Owning a home allows you to establish deeper connections with your neighbors, participate in local events, and contribute to your community's growth. These are wonderful things. I talk about this more in my blog post. Click the blog post. Click the link below. Close the net worth gap, why home ownership matters. And this talks about the difference between renters and homeowners, the net worth. Again, another paragraph from that article. We're not giving them the whole article, and they're not going to see every email. So if they see this one email, they're going to go back and they're going to see that the net worth is sandwiched with all this other great information about why it's a good reason to be a homeowner. The power of home ownership, key benefits and statistics. So this one's a little vague. I'll probably do some rewording. Well, actually, it's good. Homeownership offers many benefits, from providing stability to potentially offering tax deductions. But don't just take my word for it. Check out the statistics and benefits I've compiled in my latest blog post. So that's actually a good email. I was wrong. It just says click the link below so that you can find out more. And then the last email is discover your path to homeownership with our free app. And it basically is just saying, hey, we've got this great app that's going to help you on your road to homeownership. It's going to help you become mortgage ready sooner and easier. So that's that spoke. So now let's look at the social media spoke. So this particular prompt, what we're going to do is we're going to ask it to write a Facebook post that'll be posted on my personal wall to my network of people that already know me. The subject of the Facebook post should be an overview of the blog post we just wrote, with a call to action encouraging the reader to share this blog post with anyone they know that might be interested in buying a home in the next 12 months. Include emojis and a link to the original article. So it gives me one. Hey, I just wrote an informative blog post about the importance of owning a home, especially for first-time home buyers who are currently renting. In this article, we discuss fixing housing expenses, becoming part of a community, and the net worth gap between homeowners and renters. I like that because ChatGPT knew to take the three most powerful calls to action, or the three of the most powerful reasons for being a homeowner, and it's using that as a tease. If you know anyone thinking about buying a home in the next 12 months, please share this post with them. It's packed with useful information and tips to help make their homeownership journey a successful one. Here's a link to the blog post. Let's help our friends and family achieve their homeownership dreams. Thanks for your support. So this is a really good spoke. So you're putting this on your social media, and this is free. This isn't a paid one. But we're going to talk about the paid one in in my next episode. 2 episodes. We're doing an interview with Ginger Bell in the next one on a really cool strategy. And that's going to kind of introduce the strategy that we're going to talk about on Tuesday, which is identifying first-time homebuyer demographics in your community and specifically targeting them with your message. Now, all right, so I got through that pretty quick. We're going to go through these real quick. So that was our hub and spokes. That was our hub and spoke strategy. We created the blog post. We created a video that was a summary of the blog post that we could embed in the blog post, but we're also posting it to YouTube with a link to the blog post. And we're saying to read the entire blog post and get all the information and download the app, click on this link and go to the blog post and get all of this great stuff. So that's that spoke. The other spoke is we're going to our email database. We're doing email marketing to our database of home buyer prospects that we have. So that's the other thing that we did. Then we did a social media post. We did a social media post to drive people back to our blog post. So now what we're going to do is, since ChatGPT already is us and is already speaking like us, we're going to ask it to read and respond a long email. So here's the prompt that I use. Please read this email and give me a bullet pointed summary of the subject matter of the email and what they are expecting. Here's the email. And so I copied and pasted the email. So it was a 490 word email. That's the first part of it. That's the second part of it. So it's almost a 500 word email. And you see at the very bottom of this slide, she says, my question is that it? Is there no way to get an approval? Like, she doesn't ask her question until like the 450th word. So basically so ChatGPT says, here's a summary of that email. The subject is mortgage application difficulties with past credit issues, high credit or high student loans, $0 IBR plan, charged off car loan lawsuit. Their interest is in a Fannie Mae Home Ready conventional 97 loan. The broker's actions, they ran credit, attempted automated underwriting, no success. She has a middle score of 649. The automated underwriting result was serious delinquency from 5 years ago. That doesn't sound right to me, right? That doesn't sound right to you either. The alternative is an FHA approval suggested by the broker. She tried Freddie Mac's automated underwriting engine and it didn't work. So they tried Fannie and Freddie. They tried conventional. And the question is, there no approval outside of FHA due to the delinquency and the charge off? And then the response expected is she wants advice on whether or not to give up or try alternative options. How cool is that? Right? The subject, the issues, what she's interested in, what's been tried, what her credit score is, what the AUS results were, what the alternatives were given to her, what her question is, and what response she's expecting. So I said, great. Can you write a reply for this email for me? As me. And so I'm looking at the bullet points and I'm just going down the list. Let Margaret know that FHA is probably a good alternative. The student loan payment can be used if the payment is greater than 0. If you cannot meet the DTI requirements using 0.5% of the student loan payment, it might take a little paperwork, but we can get a new payment greater than 0. Or it might take a little paperwork to get a new payment greater than 0, but it can be done. A 5-year-old delinquency should not be an issue, but I would like to look into it further to know for sure. Emphasize that she should not give up, because that's what she asked in her thing. Should I give up? And encourage them to schedule an appointment on my calendar to discuss further. So how much time did I save by writing this email? This is a really good email. Hey, Margaret, I understand your concerns and frustration with the mortgage application process, but I assure you there are still options available to you. So I'm not going to read the entire thing, but this was a really, really good response based exactly off of what her email was. And this is ChatGPT's response. My response to that particular question is what I fed into GPT earlier to train it to be me. So comparing that one with this one, this is a really good email. It basically gives her hope. The subject line is, don't give up, Margaret. We have alternatives, right? I love this. So here's the next one. We have time for one more. So this is a newsjacking strategy. So this is for timely and relevant. So what we did before is once we trained ChatGPT to be us, and again, all of this is in a single ChatGPT thread. This is a single chat because we're asking it to still remember who we were. If you want to start a new project, you're going to take those prompts and you're going to feed those prompts again in a new chat thread. That's just how we have to use that tool right now. in the future. I'm confident there are going to be things that we can feed permanently, and then everything we do, it's going to produce output as us. But for ChatGPT, we have to train it. So on this particular strategy, and this again is a hub and spoke strategy, but this time we're not going to ask it to create an article out of thin air. We're going to ask it to read an article that we found on the internet, give us a bullet point summary, just like we did with the email, and then we're going to ask it to write a unique blog post with our opinion or our spin on this article. We already know that the article is timely and relevant because we pulled it off the internet, and we're going to rewrite it. So this particular one is from the street, and it says, can you now read and summarize this article for me? Provide the highlights of the article as bullet points. Here's the article. And basically the article was, yes, you should buy a house this year. 5 reasons why now is the right time to buy a house. Now, if you pay close enough attention, this is from February. And in February, rates dropped a little bit. So there was an influx of applications. So while the article is a positive article that I want to use because I want to spin it to tell people that there's still advantages to buying, even though interest rates are not what they used to be. There's still so many benefits to home ownership. That's my theme. That's a drum I'm beating because I want first-time home buyers. I know they're my market for the next 18 to 24 months. So this is what I want to talk to. This is who I want to talk to. So basically, this gave me like 10 bullet points. The first 2 are mortgage rates are falling, reaching 5.6% range for 30-year fixed in early February. The second bullet is declining home prices and increased real estate inventory is giving buyers more leverage. Now, those 2 bullet points aren't relevant to today's market. Like if I'm publishing that today, inventory is tight and interest rates shot back up. But all of the other bullet points are good. Experts predict that 2023 is going to be a good year for buyers with reduced competition for existing homes. Construction issues caused by supply chain is being resolved, leading to more new homes on the market. Home prices from 2020 to 2021 have plateaued. Remember, our data set is only to 2021. So they're basically saying house prices aren't shooting up. That's still pretty accurate. The Federal Reserve is slowing down the policy of substantial interest rate increases. That's happening. The U.S. condo market is returning in full swing. As life returns to normal and urban life becomes more appealing, the stock market's doing good, and home buyers are encouraged to stay hopeful, be prepared financially, and consider different mortgage programs to make homeownership more affordable. So that's great. But I don't like the first 2 bullet points. So here's what I did. Can you write me a unique blog post that covers bullet points 3 through 10? Ignore the first 2. The message of the article should be that there are many opportunities for home buyers in today's market. While the media like to use scare tactics to get clicks on articles, the reality is that there is less competition for homes, prices are cooling off, and you always have the option of lowering your interest rate and payment in the future when rates come back down. Write this article using SEO best practices, use H2 and H3 headlines and bullet points to make the article more readable. Also include the net worth differences between homeowners and renters, like we did in the previous blog post. Output in rich text. That just shows our headlines so we can copy and paste it into a blog. The mood is enthusiastic and hopeful, right at a 9th grade reading level. And it produced the advantages of today's home buying opportunities. Less competition, home prices, and future interest rate drops create a promising market for home buyers. Reduced competition, cooling home prices, future interest rate drops, return of the U.S. condo market, strong signals from the stock market, net worth differences between homeowners and renters. Stay hopeful and be prepared. So that's what I got for you, folks. This was a really fun one to do. Again, in the link below, if you want to learn more, you can scan this code. You can go to this YouTube channel if you're not seeing this on YouTube, or you can scan that code to connect with me on social media, to all of my places that I am there. So I hope this is helpful. This is a really, really powerful strategy. So not only can we teach ChatGPT to be us, but if we are creative and we know how to explain what we want and we can explain that well, ChatGPT can do a lot of the heavy lifting. What would have taken probably hours to do that hub and spoke strategy that we talked about today, is going to take less than 30-40 minutes. That it would have been 2 or 3 hours minimum to create all of that content from scratch. And now you get something that's 95% great. Again, don't take for granted that this stuff is accurate. Go through and read it. Make sure it sounds like you. You're going to tweak some stuff. You're going to add some stuff. You're going to subtract some stuff, but you're going to have 95% of the work done for you. And that is what is so amazing about this tool. That is what's so amazing about this strategy. And that would make what makes you amazing for being here, because being ahead of this curve is really, really smart. And it's going to give you a definite advantage over the next couple of years, especially if you're following these homebuyer experiments and strategies that I'm teaching you here on this channel. So I hope you like that. If you appreciate this, please like and subscribe and tell your other friends in the market. Spread this out. Right now, everything that I'm doing is free, and I plan on rolling out some stuff that's a lot more detail, that goes into a lot more detail about these strategies and how to craft these strategies that are going to be a lot easier to follow and a lot easier to replicate. So stay tuned on that. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.